trickling in. So we'll start our recording, you guys. So that if in case you miss a part of this later on due to technical difficulties, the recording will be here available for you to visit later on. But stick around because we have an exclusive Q&A for Syed towards the end of his presentation today. All right. Syed, are you ready? Let's get started, shall we?
Let's get started.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our audience and attendees all over the globe. I'm Arjel Joseph Cuevas, Talent Development Partner here at Monetize More, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be your host today. Right now, the entire world has its eyes on the pitch for the World Cup, where everything comes down to a flawless defense. And today, we are looking at the exact same stakes for your business. So for those who have joined us right now, do me a quick favor and drop your country in the chat and let us know if you currently have a defense in place against invalid traffic. So go ahead. You can find the chats over onto the right panel. Hope to see a lot of attendees around the world today. All right, so we've got a global house, and just like the pros, we are all here for one clear reason: to build a world-class defense that safely protects our ad revenue. Now, let's talk about a scenario that keeps publishers, such as yourselves, up at night. Get this, you log into your dashboard and your click-through rate has crashed, but here's the puzzle. Your traffic is steady, your ad placements haven't changed, your content is exactly the same. So what happened? Little did you know that behind the scenes, a hidden opponent just breached your defense and tanked your earnings. It's ad click spam, the silent revenue killer. It operates entirely in the shadows, triggering Google's confirmed click penalty and crushing your profits before you even know you have a problem. The old way was waiting to react to Google's warnings, but today, waiting means losing money. You have to catch these quality issues before Google does. To show us exactly how to do that, we've brought in the best person for the job. Our speaker today is Monetize More's Chief Innovation Officer, Syed Tanvir Jishan. Give him a round of applause, you guys. Use the emojis below and give a warm welcome to Syed. Now, professionally, he brings over 10 years of experience building AI and machine learning products, designing the exact technology that stops fraud and protects ecosystems globally. Today, he's going to break down the 4 types of click spam, show you the warning signs in your data, and teach us how to shield your revenue. But of course, before we turn it over to Syed, take note of your questions as we have allotted time for the Q&A at the end of the presentation. With that said, Syed, welcome, and it's over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Arjel, and thank you everyone for joining the webinar today. In the next 20 minutes, my goal is to help you understand what is ad click spam, how Google reacts to different kind of ad click spam, and how you as a publisher can protect your websites and accounts from the impact of ad click spams. And at the end of this presentation, we have an exciting offer for you. So let's get started. Now, imagine a scenario, as Arjel was saying, that you wake up in the morning, you're checking your AdSense or Google Ad Manager report, and you notice that the CTR of your entire website dropped by 40%. Not 1, not 5, 40% drop. And you didn't make any changes in the content, placements, or maybe even the traffic is stable. Most of the time, this happens when your website is getting low quality ad clicks and Google decide to penalize your website. So when the penalty gets triggered, the CTR drops overnight. So what is ad click spam? So ad click spam, as I said, are the low quality ad clicks that are actually happening on the ad units you have on your website. These are the ad clicks that advertisers do not want. So in order to protect the advertisers, Google triggers certain penalty mechanism on your website so that the advertisers are not impacted by those low quality ad clicks. Now, it is important to highlight that when I'm talking about ad click spams, I'm specifically focusing on the ad units you have on your website. I'm not talking about any other type of ad click spams, other type of click spams. So click spams can happen on any property of your website. It can happen to a navigation bar, it can happen to a link button, search bar, but our focus is solely on the ad units and what happens before the ad click and after the ad click. So now that we talked a bit about ad click spam, I want to give you the perspective of how we at Monetize More, using our product Traffic Up, which is an invalid traffic detection product, analyzed over hundreds of thousands of ad clicks and realized that there are four specific type of ad clicks which has a high correlation with Google penalties. And these are the four type of ad click signals that I will be discussing with you right now. Number one is abusive clicks. So this is the pretty basic one. So if a user comes to your website and repetitively keep clicking the ad units you have at a very high volume, then Google is very likely going to trigger the penalty mechanism. A lot of the time, this actually is done by real people. Although it can be done by bots, but we have seen that it is more likely to be done by the real people. The second one is a little less obvious. We call it the bounce clicks. Imagine a visitor coming to your website and immediately clicking the ad when it loads within milliseconds. This is not humanly possible. When a human looks into an ad, we need to process what is the content of the ad before we click it. And this takes few seconds for us to decide. But for bots, it is not needed. And bots can click ads within milliseconds. When that happens, it sends a very strong negative signal to Google. And they can trigger the penalty mechanism on your website if you have such clicks happening on your website. The third one has nothing to do with human or bots. It happens especially if your website has ad placements, which leads to accidental clicks. It can also happen if your website is having page load speed issue. So maybe the layout is shifting as the user is browsing. So consider a scenario. Someone comes to your website and they're about to click a button on your website, but they accidentally end up clicking ad. And if that happens repetitively, then Google consider that as a negative signal. So they may trigger the penalty mechanism if such clicks are happening on your website. Last but not least, if your website has high volume of invalid traffic, even if the click pattern looks normal, but if those invalid traffic clicks on the ads on your website, you're very likely going to get penalized by Google. So far we have talked about what is ad click spams and the four specific click signals that we notice has a high correlation with Google penalties. But what are the penalties actually? So let's dive into that. The very first type of penalty that Google do is called confirmed click. The idea is that if Google thinks or suspects that your website has a lot of low quality ad clicks, then every time a user click an ad on your website, instead of taking the user to the advertiser's website, Google sends a pop-up for a reconfirmation from the user whether they really wanted to click the ad or not. And when that happens, it means that it is requiring 2 clicks for the click goal. And that impacts your CTR. It drops by 30 to 60%, and ultimately it impacts your revenue as well. Now, confirm click is the first layer of penalty. The second escalation process from Google is the revenue deduction itself. If you continuously keep having low quality ad clicks, you will be receiving a monthly revenue deduction. And in the worst case scenario, your account can also be terminated. Now, I would like to share a very specific number. What we have noticed at Monetize More is that websites that fail to resolve the confirmed click issue ultimately experience a 95% drop in their revenue. So waiting is very expensive if you notice that you have confirmed click issue on your website. Now, before I talk about the defense, like how exactly you can solve this issue, let's have a live poll right now. So we would like to know from you, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to maintaining click quality on your ads? Arjun will be running the poll in the webinar platform.
Thanks so much, Sayed. Now just keep the screen on the poll. So for those joining us today, use the chat box and plug in your country where you're from so we know where you're from. We have a very global audience right now. And so while Sayed is taking a quick moment of a breather, I just want to direct your attention onto the pinned message that we have on our chat box. So we want to help you audit your own defense. We are offering a free click spam risk report for one site in your portfolio. This will give you an exact look at any hidden risks or suspicious traffic patterns lurking on your site. We have just pinned the link right at the top of the chat box, so go ahead, click that link, and claim your free report right now. Now, as a reminder, keep typing your questions right into the chat as they come up. We are saving time at the end of our live Q&A session, and we want to address as many of your challenges as we can. So you've just recently joined us. The chat box is towards the right side. If you have questions, I suggest holding on to them, or you can type them into the chat box there, because we have a special time that we'll dedicate to that right after Sayed's presentation after this. Sayed, are you ready to continue?
Yes, thank you very much, Arjel, and
Right.
thank you for everyone who answered for the poll question. So now let's move to how you can defend your website from the impact of ad click spams and Google penalties, such as confirm clicks. The very first thing you can do is actually to analyze your click quality information from Google's own report. So if you are an AdSense publisher, you have a good news. In June 2025, Google introduced a confirmed click status report in AdSense itself. All you have to do is go to report, go to breakdown, and click confirm click status. That way, you will know that whether Google is penalizing your website right now using confirm click penalties. And if you have Google Ad Manager, all you have to do is go to the policy center and you will see the information related to confirm click status there. Now, this report also helps you to understand if the problem of confirm click is resolved on your website or not. So let's say you are taking steps to mitigate low quality clicks on your website. Then if that problem is resolved or Google thinks this problem is resolved, then you will see this confirm click status going off from the reports. So basically, this report allows you to understand whether you have low quality ad clicks issue or not, and if you have solved it, and whether Google also thinks whether this problem is solved or not. Now, the challenge is that this report is like a litmus test. It tells you whether you have a problem or not, and whether the problem is resolved or not. But what it doesn't tell you is what is the problem exactly, what are the types of the problem, and what is the source of this problem. And more importantly, Google is not helping you to prevent the ad click spams on your websites. And this is where we come in. Traffic Up has ad click spam solution as part of it. And it has two mechanisms. The number one is it collects the ad click information on your website in a real-time basis. and reports it every single hour. So every single hour, you get to see all the ad clicks that are happening on your website and the quality of those ad clicks. That allows you to intercept any problem if you notice in the dashboard. The second mechanism we have is there are certain type of ad click spams that we can block before it happens. And with traffic up enable, your website will be protected from those ad click spam issues. So in summary, if you are using our ad click spam solutions, you have two benefits. One, you can slice and dice and analyze different kind of ad click spam issues that are happening on your website, and at the same time we are also protecting your website from certain kind of ad click spam issues. Now, it is important to mention that not all ad click spam issues can be prevented. Some are only recognized after it happens, and those cases we cannot block at all. Consider the ad accidental click situation. It can only be determined after the user clicked the ad that this was not their intention. As a consequence of that, those will only be reported, not blocked. So let's now zoom into the table part of this report so that you understand how you can use the report to understand the traffic quality, ad click quality on your website, and what you can do about it. So this is the table part in the ad click spam dashboard. And this table has multiple dimensions. As you can see, date, domain, ad unit, country, device, URL, UTM source, and UTM campaign. And you can also see the clicks and the click quality information are provided in the table. You can see that the four types of ad click spam signals that we talked about are listed here. And we are also listing the ad click spams that we blocked as well. Now, notice an interesting pattern in this table. On June 2nd and June 3rd, the click spam was relatively low. As you can see from the threat level column, that it was like 4% and 8%. But on June 4th, when the website changed the layout, it resulted in an increase in accidental clicks. And as a consequence of that, we are highlighting it not only by the count of accidental clicks, but we're also showing you the threat level. The threat level indicates what percentage of all your clicks are likely going to be considered as spam click. So this is the information you can use to determine whether your website is having an issue or not after you made any change in the layouts. And as you can see, the blocked information are also here, so you know that what are the bad click signals that didn't reach Google at all. You can also break down the report not just by data. As I say, you can break down the report in other dimensions as well. For example, you can see the report by sources as well. As you can see, we are highlighting here the traffic you're getting from Google, Facebook, TikTok, or any other platforms, and what is the click quality from visitors from these platforms. So that brings me to the end of this demonstration. And as I mentioned, and as Arjel mentioned, that for any one of you who are attending this webinar, we are going to provide you with a free ad click spam rig snapshot if you're interested. And if you're interested, all you have to do is scan this QR code or click the link in the webinar platform that Arjel shared. And we will send you the traffic of script to install in your website. And after we analyze the data, we'll give you a ad click spam rig snapshot report.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sayed. Now we're actually down to our last poll, you guys. So please go back over to the chat panel and I will send through the final poll, which asks, how do you currently monitor click quality or invalid clicks on your ads? Please submit your answers. We'd love to see your responses. This gives us a clear picture of what issues you're trying to solve and how you're solving it, or if you have that available. This also gives us a clear picture of how we're going to position these solutions with you and work together with you, your product, your platforms, in preventing any of the ad click spam that we've talked about just today. So we're seeing some of the results, and majority of the responses from the earlier poll on the question, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to maintaining click quality on your ads? It says, I don't know if my site has ad click spam. So take note, Sayed, not everyone, they don't, maybe majority of the people don't know if they're getting that type of traffic on their ads, nor I don't even know if they know how to identify if there's ad click spam, right? And so our second poll asks, how do you currently monitor click quality or invalid clicks on your ads? The leading response is Google Ad Manager reports. So it gives us a picture, or paints us a picture, that they're probably using the Google Ad Manager in extracting those reports, but perhaps the challenge would be interpreting it, and where do they specifically look, which KPIs to review and to analyze. With that being said, you guys, for those who have joined us, please make sure to plug in your questions over onto the chat. We'll be directing the Q&A, and we'll get started momentarily. Perhaps Sayed has some final notes before we go directly to our Q&A. Sayed, do you have some few more notes to add?
Thank you very much, Arjel. So I just want to remind everyone that if you are not sure about whether you have ad click spam issue in your website or not, you can check the confirm click reports, and at the same time, you can sign up with Traffic Cop offer we have and get a free ad click spam rig snapshot as well. With that said, thank you very much for listening to me. And now the floor is open for question and answer session.
Thanks, Sayed. We actually have our very first question from Jonah. Jonah asks, we've noticed our CTR dropped over the last couple of weeks, and now Google is showing confirmed click on some pages. We haven't changed our ad setup, so how do we know if this is actually ad click spam, or if users are just behaving differently? Really good question, Jonah. Over to you, Sayed.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
This is actually a telltale sign of ad click spam. Because you didn't change anything on your website and there's a major drop in CTR, that's the pattern we have noticed with a lot of the publisher as well when they have ad click spam issues. Now, this can happen perhaps, like there is a fluctuation in the traffic, and the newer traffic you have are probably clicking the ads in a way that Google is flagging right now. Or it is possible that there is a layout change on your website that you might, or maybe you are getting traffic from a source where your website is shown in a web view, and where the CSS of your website is probably breaking. And as a consequence of that, maybe there's an overlay between buttons and the ads. And as a result, people are ending up clicking the ads. Or it is quite possible maybe you have sudden increase in invalid traffic, even maybe just a 5% increase in invalid traffic, but a CTR perhaps went up for some time. So it will also be a good idea for you to check that before the CTR drop, did you see any kind of volatility in the CTR or not? Like maybe it went up suddenly before it went down significantly.
Thank you so much, Sayed. I think Artur made a comment about this particular question. So Artur says, same here. I noticed a small drop of the CTR, but under Policy Center, I see confirmed click investigation targeting few ad units on specific domain. And so Artur adds, you mentioned web view. Does Google looks different on web view environment? Perhaps you have some insights on this, Syed?
Yeah, so web views, are generally shows up in mobile apps, and there are at times, because it's a browser that is not the standard browser, what can happen is maybe certain setups on your how you design your website is not compatible, and that leads to maybe some things breaking. So one thing I will strongly recommend is that whenever you're making changes in the layout of your website, please test on different kind of platforms and understand, like whether the whole structure is looking okay or not. Because this not only impacts the ad click spam issue, it also can violate other kind of policy. Maybe the buttons, as I say, the buttons on top of ad units, or maybe some content two ad units overlapping, like it's known as ad stacking issue. Those can also show up, and Google may consider those as invalid impressions.
Thanks, Sayed. I think we have a clarifying question from Patrick Enriquez. So he asks, are we talking about AdSense or AdX CTRs?
It can happen for both. It's the confirmed click issue can be applied on AdSense, and it can also be applied for Ad Exchange.
Thanks, Sayed. And a follow-up from Keith. Keith asks, can you see CTR issues in PubGuru?
Yes, I mean, Traffic Hub is embedded as part of PubGuru, so you will be able to see the CTR issues there as well. In fact, as part of the ad click spam reporting, we have a card in the dashboard which indicates if you have sessions with high CTR. Because if you have sessions with high CTR, that's an indication that it's beyond the norm and you should be looking at it.
Awesome. I hope your questions have been answered, Keith and Patrick. Thank you for contributing. We'll go to our next question from Farina. So Sayed, Farina asks, if we've already been hit with confirmed click, is it something that can be reversed? And once we fix the click quality issues, how long does it usually take before Google removes it?
Well, definitely it gets resolved, and it's something Google mentioned in their documentation as well, that if you solve it, then this trigger will go away. How long it will take is an information that is not very clear, because it depends of what you consider as that you have mitigated the issue versus what Google consider as whether it is truly mitigated or not.
Got it. Thank you so much, Sayed. Farina, I hope your question has been answered. And please do ask a follow-up question regarding that if you have additional questions related to your first one. Let's move on to Marcus, because he asks, based on this information you just provided today, is it a bad idea to run my Meta Ads campaigns with ad click conversion event, which is a custom event we created to optimize by ad clicks? Do you have insights on this, Sayed?
Not at all. In fact, if you're sure that most of the clicks you're getting on your ads are valid, then perhaps it's a good signal. It depends on your business goal. But if that is actually helping you to improve your ROAS, then I think that's totally fine. However, if you notice that you have a high volume of invalid click happening on your websites, or high volume of accidental clicks happening on your websites, like on the ads, and you are actually sending that signal to the conversion API of Meta, then you are actually getting impacted in two ways, both on the buy side and the sell side, because your ads are now, of course, Google may flag it and trigger the confirm click, and at the same time you're sending wrong signal to Meta that what is actually helping in your ROS. So it totally depends on if your ROS is healthy and at the same time you don't have a click issue.
Thanks, Sayed. All right, Marcus, I hope that answers your question. Please follow it up should you have additional clarifying questions to ask. Sayed, I have another question coming from Isana. So Isana asks, we get traffic from search, social, and a few paid campaigns. All right, so that's setting the stage right there. So the question is there a way to figure out which traffic source is causing most of the bad clicks, or do we just have to look at the overall site numbers?
That's a very good question. One good practice to do is whenever, whenever it is possible, uh, like add the UTM information as part of the query parameter in your links. So, for example, let's say maybe you are getting traffic from Facebook, and if you put a query parameter related to the UTM source and the UTM campaign, perhaps, or other type of UTM as well, then we will be able to track the sources, like for example Facebook in this case, and the campaign from where you're getting the clicks, and in our dashboard you'll be able to analyze the information by the source and campaign. So you'll be able to understand not only which source may be the reason behind that click spam, but also perhaps which campaign is causing it.
Awesome, Sayed. And I think it's also important to note, right, given that in this new age of AI, where we have agentic AI at that, right, it's interesting to study how that's going to appear in our numbers on the back end of our websites. Let's see, who else has additional questions? I know we answered Keith's question about the CTR and Marcus's question about ad click conversion events. Samir Singh, he asks, our website revenue dropped significant in a month. How to prevent it? Without providing specifics, Sayed, is this also another sign of ad click spam?
Arjun, would you mind repeating or rephrasing it?
Sure. Samir asked, our website revenue dropped significant in a month. How to prevent it? So I think this answers our products in general, right?
Yeah,
Not
exactly,
this specifically.
This is broad. It can happen for many reasons. Traffic could be a reason. It could be related to maybe if you're getting organic search traffic. Based on what I understand, a lot of organic search, a lot of publishers who relies on organic search traffic are impacted that way as well. Like they suddenly see major traffic drop. If there is no traffic drop, if it's a CPM drop, then it could be that the advertisers that were bidding on your website are not bidding recently, and there could be many reasons behind it. But of course, ad click spam can be one of the second order effect as well.
Thanks, Sayed. Let's go over some of our attendees in the different areas of the world. We have Sumir Singh from India from earlier, Rajishwar Prasad from India, Joao Pedro from Brazil, also Marina Filipe from Brazil. We actually have Ilya from Ukraine, Jonah earlier from the Philippines, Marcos from China. Hey, welcome. We have Artur from Armenia, Patrick from the Philippines, and Shamin from Bangladesh. It's interesting that we have a global audience today. And just a quick couple of reminders, right? So pinned in the chat, you guys, we have the link to our click spam risk report. So if you haven't yet, please go ahead to the chat box, click on that so we can generate that for you and we can set up that report, the click spam risk report for one of your sites. Also, we're curious to learn how ad click spam shows up on your side of the world. If you also notice any particular patterns, now take note, you guys. This is already Q3, heading towards Q4. Thinking about a global trend in terms of economic activity, there's no better time than now to set the foundations in preventing any of this from happening as we head towards the highest economic activity of the season of the year. You have your upcoming Black Friday specials, Christmas, and other similar economic activity. And so there's going to be a lot of traffic that's going to come into your websites. But the big factor is, how do we know if in case those are prevented for ad click spam, right? So we're curious to hear any additional questions from the team. We have another question from Jonah. So she asks, for Sayed, can click spam lead to Google policy violations or account penalties?
Oh yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, that it might start with confirm click, and if you have large volume of traffic and are also like, like which is like generating revenue, then there will be the next stage is the revenue deduction, and the worst case is of course like the account termination.
So clawbacks are part of the story, and the worst case scenario is account termination from Google. Wow. All right, and we have another follow from Asana. So Sayed, Asana asks, how often should we audit our websites for click quality risks? Any thoughts on frequency? Good question, by the way.
If you think about it, Google is analyzing your website every hour. Like every if you go to Google reports, you will see that it's updating every hour. It's a good practice to keep it live on your website, to continuously analyze, but at minimum I will say check every week what is happening on your website.
And I think it's just regular practice, regular cadence to check and due diligence by checking your numbers. But if any anomaly comes up that you don't know what's happening, right? Pretty much it might be ad click spam. And so it's important to analyze your data now and see what's happening. We have another follow-up question from Arthur. So Arthur asks, Google support told me that actually one of the advertisers in Google Ads and turned on the confirmed click targeting. Is this possible or are they just trying to cover it?
That's very interesting. I'm not sure about it because it's on the buy side, but I won't be surprised that if it is possible for advertiser to have such controls. To my best knowledge, advertisers can definitely block certain websites where their ads should not be shown, but I do not have the knowledge on like whether the advertisers can also like turn on confirm click, but it is quite possible.
Interesting question and thought there, Arthur. Thank you for bringing that up. Actually, we'll start looking into that ourselves. Um, hmm, very interesting, right? Are they trying to cover it up or is it part of what's happening recently? My question to you, Sayed, I'm just out of my curiosity, right? Can you point to a specific part or timeline where we start noticing ad click spam? When did this all start?
Well, we always knew that ad click spam is happening. Google started this confirm click mechanism in 2012, so it's been there for a while. And our extension of ad click spam solution from invalid traffic solution happened first in 2022 when we realized that just blocking the invalid traffic wasn't enough. There were a lot of different ways Google is doing revenue deduction. So I will say our focus on invalid traffic started in 2018, but our focus on the ad click spam started in 2022. And since then, we have been collecting hundreds of thousands of ad click data.
It's been happening all this time. In terms of what other people have been doing to identify and to prevent this from happening, what are your thoughts in what's the market doing on this?
Quite interestingly, most of the invalid traffic solutions are focused towards advertisers. And because they're focused towards advertisers, while they can solve the problem of invalid traffic for the publisher as well, but their solutions are not designed for ad click spam. Because the ad click spam that we are talking about are the ad units that publisher has. And to my best knowledge, Traffic Hub is the only solution out there which is providing publishers with protection of the ad unit from ad click spams.
Thank you so much, Sayed. Great answer. Actually, I'm also curious because we have a global audience today. Is this happening in particular more on other geos compared to others, or is this a common issue all around? Also,
It's a
in
global issue. It's a global issue, and you might it's quite counterintuitive, but at times you will see that these issues are more prevalent in tier one geos, and part of the reasons it's more prevalent in tier one geos is because a lot of the bots are actually generated from the data centers which are residing in the tier one countries, and the tier one countries has higher CPC and CPM rates. So a lot of these sources at times use those data centers and invoke high CPM and CPC rate as well, and ultimately harm the ad units you have.
my follow-up question to that is any particular niche that this type of behavior is also targeting for ad click spam?
To my
Or
best
what
understanding,
niche is at risk the most, basically?
it doesn't have a strong correlation with niches, like at least the niches that Monetize More works with. Uh, it mostly has correlation with the quality of traffic that is coming to your website. It is related to how much focus you have in ensuring the layout of your website is compatible in different kind of devices. So the main focus should be on the quality of the traffic that you're getting and how you're maintaining your website and how you're testing whenever you're changing your layouts.
Wow, that is thank you, Sayed, for those insights because that broadens out the perspective, right? To really look at the numbers and what's happening, looking at the patterns. We have a follow-up question from Farina, and then we're finally down to Arthur's question in a bit. So Farina asks, what are the most common sources of click spam on publisher websites?
Most common sources are going to be sources which are, like, for example, not getting traffic from reliable platforms. Like if you're getting traffic from Facebook, Google Ads, then more likely than not, those are cleaner sources. But if you're probably channeling in traffic to your website from sources which are not easily attributable, sources that are perhaps, like, maybe you're like, I know not all publishers do that, but some publishers do, like perhaps try to buy traffic from Fiverr or sources like that. When they do that, then the chances of ad click spam happening on a website goes up. So that is why I mentioned that it is important to ensure that if you're buying traffic, buy traffic from cleaner sources. If you're having traffic from organic search, then you're very likely going to have much cleaner traffic. But that being said, it is also important to understand even the best platforms out there has 5 to 10% of bot traffic.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much, Sayed. We have one final question that we can entertain at this time. So the last and final question is from Artur, and Artur asks, would it make sense to isolate ad units and serve them to different traffic sources? This could prevent at least from being penalized across all sources. What are your thoughts on that type of strategy?
Very interesting strategy. I know, like a lot of publishers actually do that, not just to protect their ad units from the impact of invalid traffic or click spam, but also from measurement purposes, because many publisher wants to measure the revenue or other metrics in Google Ad Manager for different traffic sources, and one easy way to do that is by naming your ad units that way. So I think it's a very interesting practice. I don't think it violates any policy from Google as well, to my best knowledge. I want to provide that disclaimer. So I think it can actually help, because if you are isolating, let's say, like if you feel like, let's say, oh, okay, I'm getting traffic from Facebook and I feel like these are triggering ad click spams, then if you have ad units based on Facebook's, then those are the ones that will be impacted for confirmed click, but not the other ones.
Awesome question, Artur, and great answer, Sayed. Provides us into the perspective of that strategy. But I guess, Artur, you can use the link to sign up for the free click spam risk report, and then our team can collaborate with your team, and we can look at other strategies and product solutions that we have to offer in relation to your strategies. So, for everyone who has taken the time in their day to join us in this session with our expert, our Chief Innovation Officer, Syed, with Monetize More, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And without further ado, right, Syed, any final lasting message for everyone all around the globe?
Yep. Thank you very much for making time for us today. I hope this information was helpful to you. And if you are curious to understand the ad click spam issues on your website, maybe you don't have any ad click spam issues, but you may still want to understand that how your clicks, what kind of clicks are happening on your website, a little bit in more detail, then feel free to sign up for our free click spam report today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Syed. And to everyone who's joined us today, good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are. And once again, I am Argel Joseph Cuevas, your talent development partner from Monetize More. And thank you for joining us here today, and see you on the next webinar. Thank you so much, and take care, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Syed.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.